Welcome to the Finisher, a podcast about professional wrestling and all things, well, wrestling. Here are your hosts, Jerry Pickering and Dan Naraki.
Hey, welcome back. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everyone who's watching along. We are the Finisher. I almost did it again. The Finisher right here on Facebook.com/The Finisher Podcast. Another podcast about professional wrestling. Welcome, Dan. How are you today?
Well, we haven't done that in a while. Not gonna lie.
What? So they almost said the wrong name?
Yeah, I haven't screwed that up in a while.
I was just looking at the old one.
No, that's true. We had a thing. Going.
So, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Facebook Live video. We are live every week. Usually Saturdays, 1:30, somewhere in that vicinity, right here on Facebook, facebook.com/The Finisher Podcast. All of our social, if you want to find that, all of our podcasting areas and websites, you can find that if you go to thefinisherpodcast.com. Everything is right there for you. You just click where to find us. Go follow us, subscribe, like, favorite, all that stuff. Be with us every time we do something stupid and fun. Because we do podcasts, we do the live pay-per-view reactions. So as we're watching the pay-per-views, you're watching us as we're watching them and reacting to them, and you can join us in our chat, and that's always Facebook exclusive. So make sure you join us for that at least once a month, and maybe doing more, not live ones, but actual just reactions to other videos. So stand by for that.
Yeah, let's make that announcement, but let's do that at the end of the show.
We got that.
Because between now and then, I'll make something up that sounds official.
Official.
Speaking of those live things, we got some really like a month of free Sundays between now and our next show. Our SummerSlam's a ways off now.
Is it?
Yeah. The next thing on the pay-per-view schedule, August 23rd. Takeover the night before, which will be over at Full Sail. And then SummerSlam August 23rd, which is just under a month from now. And all we know for sure about that card is it will not be in Boston.
They finally made that decision, huh?
The decision was made by Boston's mayor like months ago, but the company has now officially said SummerSlam will not take place at the TD Garden in Boston like originally scheduled. We're all assuming it'll be at the Performance Center like everything else has been in the last several months.
Unless they find a place that will host it in the arena, with just like they're doing the shows now, but in an actual arena, kind of like another company is doing.
Good luck. I mean, you're gonna have to find you're probably gonna have to find a similar venue like Daly's place. So you're gonna have to stay in the South, probably stay in Florida, and find yourself an outdoor venue, and play it up to. Do you invite like all the staff, and run the risk of exposing the entire company to a possible outbreak? Florida ain't exactly the best place right now when it comes to the virus floating around. So
it's not. No, come on. Figured it's a great place. There's no problems.
Nope, nothing to see here at all.
No problems, nothing to see. So there was no doubt in my mind that they weren't going to be able to do it in Boston. I knew that was not going to happen.
I legitimately am not expecting a pay-per-view with a paying crowd until the Royal Rumble. I've said that all along. Like there's no way.
That.
It may be later. Who knows? Like I said, there's just so many factors up in the air. It's like where's a municipality going to give them the go-ahead? What they'll probably do is look after every city that has an NFL team and go, look, you're letting 30,000 people in every 2 seats come to a football game. Why can't you let us do that?
Sure.
So now every show may be a stadium show because they have the room to spread everybody out.
It's going to be quite a while before that happens, I think.
The way we're going, it's going to be a very long time, actually.
Wear your mask.
Wear your damn mask.
And it's also going to be quite a while before WWE decides to bring back an old faction.
Well, maybe.
I think it's going to be a bit.
Well, if it comes back at all, like I said, I'm wondering if that's all not. This story coming out of Raw, as we started to see what we had Ron Simmons make an appearance on Raw last week. Shelton Benjamin becoming a part of MVP's stable.
Ballin'. Sorry.
Mark Henry was actually apparently in the building, but wasn't used on Raw, as he was originally going to be part of this, where we were going to get a reboot of the Nation of Domination.
Yeah, but probably not a good choice.
There was reportedly some discomfort backstage that led that particular angle to be, or part of the angle to be dropped. And I think that was the right plan. I think, like, as they said, like, this is not the time in race relations in America to bring that one back.
No, I think they need to
You can
to
still
hold
do
out
that
for quite a while, for a little while.
I mean, you can still do that faction. You can still have all those guys together.
I mean, it's shocked to actually have MVP. He was supposedly taking on a producer role. And they're like, hey, we want you to do the VIP lounge, a special thing. Hey, can you come in and do a match? Hey, we need you to do another VIP. Can you do another match? Can you do this? And all of a sudden, he's doing...
All of a sudden, he's the United States champion.
Yeah, he's doing a talent contract. You know, he goes, the producer side kept getting less and less and less and less, and then all of a sudden, boom, you know, he's really not doing anything producer-wise. It's mostly talent.
Okay, hey, he can still go at his age. Why not?
And then he brought out that stupid title.
And he brought out the weird...
The champion title, sorry.
The champion, yes. It's not the... It's a championship. I think that's the best way to put it. And if they're all going that way, oh, God, we're screwed.
The championship. Hey, I mean, I will say, it looked a little better than Ray's eye. It looked a little better than that gumball eye that Ray had in his hand.
Yeah, I think I raged enough about that during the live
show. Why not have something? Have some kind of goo, some kind of red slimy something, so it actually looked real, like it had actually popped out, where there was blood, where there was something showing, and it looked like just a piece of plastic.
It was. That's it.
I know.
There's just a cut where they handed him a plastic eyeball, and he sold it.
And you could see, if you look at the eye, the red line is just too straight and perfect. That's supposed to be blood. I'm like, not like rub it with blood or squeeze a little baggie of blood, a blood capsule, something. Come on now.
Which is, again...
You're stupid.
Which is why I said weeks ago, don't do it at all. There's no way this comes off well. And guess what happened? There's no way that came off well. It drugged the entire match down. And then you had Seth Rollins recoil in horror for something he couldn't see. He threw up at the sight of Ray covering his eye.
And the funny thing is, I've seen videos on this whole thing, and I was not the only one who did the, he's gonna puke!
That was the first thing you said.
It was right off, and I was like, boom, right off the top of my head, that came to mind, and like there's other videos who did it, and they played that audio under it of Seth puking. And I'm like, who's not gonna do that?
And immediately you knew that was going to become a meme. As soon as we got off the air, I saw the Pokeball memes, because that's exactly what that little thing eyeball looked like. Again, you ruined a potentially good match by giving it the dumbest stipulation possible, and then when it came to nut cutting time, you realized you couldn't actually deliver anything, so you gave it the weakest possible ending you could have done.
I was hoping to see something CGI, you know? Something, and there wasn't anything.
I was hoping to see nothing. I
didn't want anything, but
I was hoping we could have had the same announcement. Go, well, Apollo Crews is still injured, and unfortunately, so is Rey Mysterio, so he won't get that. But here's a women's tag team match, and we would have seen something else.
yeah. But speaking of the Master of the 619, is for a while he's been working on basically just a handshake deal with Vince in the back. Like his contract was just a handshake. That was his. It was not a handshake deal. Recently, it's not 100%, but that he's a lot closer to signing, just because he wants his son to stick with the company, and him being there is going to be kind of a help along the line. So we may be seeing Ray back sooner than later, recovering from his eye with just a patch over, because it was the same eye that was hurt before.
So apparently he was up in Stanford last week or the week leading up to Extreme Rules, and is scheduled to go back for more negotiations this week or this coming week. So I don't know if they're going to do one of those kind of the special Legends contract where you can be a talent for a certain amount of time, but then once you retire in the ring, you're with us on a Legends deal, so we can still kind of have you come back every so often and put you out for stuff, which would be perfect at this point. Ray in his mid-40s, has had more knee surgeries than the 1989 Denver Broncos, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to wrap him up that way. And it's not like he's not in demand. Like if they screw this up, he can easily go literally anywhere else that's running, and they will take him and they will use him.
Yeah.
So
just realized I left my door to my laundry room open. Oh well.
So that's where that door goes to.
I was like, I just looked at the screen. I was like, oh, I forgot to shut that damn door. Oh well, it happens. I don't care. No one can see anything. I'm in the way of everything. Look, my washer and dryer. It's amazing. I lost my view there. Switched off onto that. We'll see how much they're going to use him. I don't see they're going to use him that much as he's getting older and a little more training getting his son going than his career.
I think that's more what I assume they're assuming is that, as this continues while he's out. I mean, they did the promo like after the match, the next match that night, where they gave it they already gave it a medical out that it was like a globular dislocation or whatever, which is just, I didn't look it up, but I'm assuming it's one of those, like, it's a real thing, but if you actually looked at it, it didn't fit what it was being used for.
Probably. So I know it's not on our rundown for the show, but I wanted to bring up, I mean, something that it has to be a work that's going around, which was Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole.
Baby.
I mean, the whole thing is going, and I'm like, this is like before the end of it, before the whole ending and the whole thing broke out, I'm like, this is just too much to actually be an actual thing. This has got to be some kind of work. This can't be.
Yeah, no,
this isn't a shoot.
I see it being reported. I didn't get a chance. Like Cultaholic did an entire 15-minute video. I didn't get a chance to watch it because I just saw it this morning. So it's being reported, and so at least in one wrestling circle, it's being reported. And I don't know if anyone's actually looking at it going, guys, it's wrestling. It's a work.
It's a work.
It's
even
a work.
Though that,
now,
Adam Cole is using the F word quite a bit in it.
It's the Pat McAfee show, and it was specifically after the radio show. The very beginning of what you sent me was them wrapping the radio show and saying, this is for our viewers on X. So they didn't have to worry about any language or anything.
Yep.
It's if they wanted to do it, they just sent him to Kuwait and let him do Good Morning Kuwait and have him snatch up the guy with doing that. And I'd like to see, snatch up Pat McAfee. Dude, the punter's bigger than Adam, about the same size or bigger than Adam Cole. No offense to the former champion.
Adam Cole's like, you were a punter. You went out and kicked every once in a while. Shut up.
Right. It's, and I think for the most part, it's being treated as such. It's like that, the story wasn't picked up on ESPN and run during SportsCenter because they have the time, or up until like this week, they had the time to report on WWE like that. So it didn't get a run. It's like I said, Pat McAfee has an association with the company.
Yeah, doing the pre-shows and stuff.
He's been there for a couple of years. He has a relationship. If he went up there and slapped the crap out of Dan Patrick, now maybe we have something where we have a shoot. But it's Pat McAfee. So we know, if you know anything about that show,
it's got to be something.
So, I mean, I get it. Like, I almost kind of feel bad for Adam because it's an attempt to try and get him his heat back after he got after he had the cold water bucket dumped on him at the Great American Bash and losing his title and all this.
Yeah.
And it went over like a fart in church. Like there's no, like, it did not get a reaction besides, oh yeah, Pat McAfee show went nuts.
And speaking of, him losing his title, Keith Lee being the North American champion and the NXT champion. Well, scratch that. He is no longer the North American champion. He relinquished that title this past Wednesday, and he said he wants everyone to have a shot. So it looked like they were doing like a triple threat match the next couple of weeks. A few triple threat matches the next couple of weeks, and then it goes into like a fatal four-way, was it?
I believe
at TakeOver.
Excuse me.
It was a fatal four-way ladder match at TakeOver for the championship.
If I read correctly, we're going to have another five. I thought it was a five-person.
The five
ladder match, just like that we had when when Cole initially won the title, a five-man ladder match for the belt.
Gotcha.
The question is going to be, who will Keith Lee defend that title against come August 22nd?
True.
There's a lot of questions.
And will this help? These matches on Wednesday nights help in the Wednesday Night Wars? Because it looks like this past week AEW Dynamite defeated NXT as they toppled 1 million viewers for a few minutes, I guess.
Handily, yeah. Actually, it was, and what was it? Of all things, it was the Young Bucks and the Butcher and the Blade in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Which, by the way, best spot of the week was I think it was the Butcher. They were in an Escalade in front of somewhere in that stadium.
Yeah.
And he ate a double drop kick, or a double. He ate a super kick party, which knocked him backwards into the up escalator, and then he just sold all the way up the escalator. Like, perfect.
That's awesome.
Like, they're getting the mayhem stuff right. And again, that was the big segment that put him over. They destroyed in the demo, as Le Champion, the demo god, will point out. And at least this week, they got it done. So NXT has got some work to do. I think it'll only be a matter of time before we see somebody in another Falls Count Anywhere match to headline NXT, because thus far that's how it's been so far.
This is
They're gonna do a 2-night special. Well, we're gonna do a 2-night special. They're gonna do a tournament. Well, we're gonna do a tournament.
The Tony Khan put, yes, #AEW Dynamite was over 1 million total viewers for the final 5 minutes of the Young Bucks versus Butcher and the Blade Falls Count Anywhere match from 8:55 p.m. to 9 p.m. Estimated of a little over 1,018,000 total viewers, and 502,000 in the key 18 to 49 demographic.
Means they had something people wanted to see, or something that people were calling their friends up and going, "Hey, this is kind of nuts. You should check this out." You
were saying, like, if one person does this, one person does that, they're gonna each do their. One person does this, okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do it too. Right. So, well, WWE just files for a new trademark for a new tournament. So, is that something we're gonna see AEW do?
Well, they don't really have anything right now to do a tournament for. The filing, getting the wording correctly, was it not for the NXT UK Heritage Cup?
Yes, on July 20th. That's when they
That
did
was
it.
the filing, right? So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they have plans. They're trying to make it a big event when uh, NXT UK is finally allowed to run again, and they're finally able to get that up and going. I don't know what that's going to do to the Takeover Dublin event, which is scheduled for October. But if this whole thing may not happen until then. All depends on where the UK is in their recovery process.
Yeah. We were talking AEW. So what happened with Darby Allin?
Darby Allin, man, this dude. While it has been his short program with Brian Cage has been great, dude is getting just destroyed. You know the wooden walkway that they have from the stage to the ring set up right there. He took a power bomb on it.
Nice.
So going to be out this week with and at least on Thursday was suspected concussion. So I'm assuming it's confirmed that he's concussed because he took a freaking power bomb on the wooden ramp. And it was from Brian Cage. So he's already gotten knocked out of action twice by Cage, and not necessarily by being sloppy. It's just the impact of what they were doing. So when they finally actually have a match, I can't wait. At the same time, the mantra should be, please don't die. But that is not what necessarily caused me to mark out the biggest when it came to Dynamite this week.
Was it someone returning?
It was not a return, but it was a debut. I came back and sort of waiting for all the YouTube uploads because I was at volleyball while the show was live, so watching it come through, and there still hadn't been an opponent for Cody for his TNT Championship defense. Then lo and behold, who walks out? The last of a dying breed, the king of diamonds himself, Eddie effing Kingston. That
Any
name
relation to Kofi?
No. Okay. That name means nothing to you, but he is an 18-year veteran of the independent scene and everywhere else. Most recently was in Impact and sort of had a faction of the rebuilt LAX. And then just so, he had a pre-match promo. It's just find it on YouTube. Obviously, it's up there on AEW's. It's only a couple minutes. It's an amazing promo. They did a no disqualification match that he and Cody beat the piss out of each other. Cody ate thumbtacks to the bare back.
I saw that.
To retain his title. Did not catch a back fist to the future in that one, but. I am really hoping that as it seems we're getting a trend of the indie darlings that people are going, well, your next opponent for the title should be this. Is why we have Cody versus Warhorse coming up on this Wednesday night. But I really, 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 really hope that they can get Kingston to some kind of a deal. He had been working with the NWA, but it sounds like they're not even going to attempt to run shows again this calendar year. So he should be free to do what he wants. And he, during his time in Impact, he happened to be a manager and occasional partner of two guys, one Santana and one Ortiz. So if they were to bring the King of the Streets into the inner circle, I mean, it just writes itself. And then you could even have the factionalization of a faction like you sort of had with the Bullet Club and the Elite. And just give me more Eddie Kingston on my television.
I like it. I saw a few clips of it. I definitely saw the Cody getting slammed into those thumbtacks. Oh.
There's no way to protect that when there's no shirt involved.
But we did have somebody also, making a return on AEW. The one, I forget what his little tag is, his little nickname. The Spanish God, who was it? Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara returned. That's right. He returned in the tag team match in the Inner Circle and Jurassic Express.
He came out wearing a mask and unmasked that Sammy Guevara, and him and Jericho embraced very happily that his buddy was back.
So Sammy Guevara is done in timeout.
Why are you
Last
flipping me off?
Use the inner circle.
Oh, okay.
Itch. And he said the vlog's returning this week. I'm assuming that will be when he gets a chance to vlog. It'll be a mea culpa, and we'll move on from there. And he will attempt to explain lesson learned and be a better person going forward. And even more importantly, that leads to a huge 10-man tag coming up this Wednesday night, which sounds like it's going not to miss the entire Inner Circle versus Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus.
All right.
Just the potential for just absolute mayhem out of that 10-man tag.
That'll be good.
Right.
So we know we're just under like 250 days away from another WrestleMania, and they're already planning some stuff.
Good.
Which
that is what you should be doing.
Which they should be doing.
What you should be doing in July is planning for March, so that you have a blueprint for the next 8 months worth of programming. You know where you're going.
But the sad thing is we're going to get another match that was on the last WrestleMania, which in Edge versus Orton. Hopefully that Edge is returned and healthy, and by then. The plan that I heard was SummerSlam. It will be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, and supposedly that Orton is going to get the rub here and become the new WWE or whatever the title is. Is that the WWE title or is it the Universal?
That's the Universal. I think.
Universal. They changed it so many times.
WWE. It doesn't. He's the Raw World Champion. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
This whatever. I wouldn't do it now if that's what's going to be, and I'm not upset I'm not really upset that it's Randy, because honestly, right now, what other heel is there that you would believe to be able to beat McIntyre?
Monday is a rematch for Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
And they basically did the exact same thing for the last one, but now Drew gets to pick the stipulation. He's not going to tell Dolph until right before the match. Like
maybe there's the TLC match that we thought we had spoiled at the horror show. That turned out to be the bait and switch.
Yeah.
And
so supposedly what they want to do is they want the title to be on the line at the Orton Edge match in Mania. So I mean, Orton could not win it at SummerSlam, and him and McIntyre could go back and forth. Win, then have a match for it, and then maybe he'll win in a couple months and then go on with it. But
I would prefer that, because again, we have what, just under 4 weeks, so you have 4 shows to build this up. And if this is going to be if that's what this is going to be, I would assume you want more time to let this thing simmer, because you're not, obviously, unless Orton gets involved in this match on Monday, you don't want to. It makes no sense for him to.
Yeah, let him get involved. Let him get involved on Monday, but still let Orton lose at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
McIntyre's still too hot right now. He's still, one of the sayings, he's still green or whatever, but he's still really not really green, but really he's hot right now. It's over. He's burning. He's over. That's what I'm looking for.
There's no point in making a switch now, because it's not like. It's not. There's going to be no impact to it. Honestly, again, if you wait to the Rumble, I'm not mad about that. And Orton goes in from January to March as champion, because he hasn't exactly. Not to mention, you've got this brand new babyface you're trying to build up, and you've put like little tiny speed bumps in his way.
Yeah.
Over the last 4 months, you haven't built up, like, there's money to be made with McIntyre Lesnar too. Like, that's something people want to see for more than 2 minutes. But that's obviously now is not the right time. So You just kind of, I hate to say it, but kind of Jinder Mahal his title reign until you can get that money match. Have him beat Lesnar. And then if Orton takes him down, now you have the beast that took out the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. and now he falls to the veteran.
You got to give it time. You can't.
But unfortunately, I guess the ratings of Raw will be the determining factor of how fast they decide to do things, because now we're in that era again where they're going to be counting quarter hours from here on out again. It's going to be the Monday Night War, but they're at war with themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's how we're going to react.
Supposedly, I mean that's what they want to do with WrestleMania. Is they want Edge versus Orton for the WWE title. Who knows what? Or in an I Quit match.
I mean, we knew the plan was a 3-match series, and the third match was supposed to be SummerSlam, and then they were going to move on, and then obviously Edge's injury changed plans. As long as they don't touch until beginning of next year, as long as we don't have Edge and Orton at whatever September's pay-per-view, and Edge and Orton at Clash of the Champions, and Edge and Orton at Survivor Series, as long as there is a 8-month build to this I Quit match,
yeah,
then yes, the potential to have a 5-star classic is there. They can do it. Would I want either of them to have the belt for a prolonged period? No. We want to make new stars. It would be.
That's why I'm kind of more enjoying NXT right now than anything else.
Right. That's it. That's why I'm enjoying NXT. That's why I'm enjoying AEW, because it's Chris Jericho and a bunch of guys that you know from the indies, or a bunch of guys who you're watching being built in front of you.
Yeah.
And Jericho is just making people. Well, at least he's making Orange Cassidy left and right. He made Jungle Boy at the end of the year. We'll probably do it again very soon. So that's the entertaining part of it.
It is. It is.
Speaking of, because I know you're trying to get the transition ready for our top 5, but I can give you some other time too, and we can address, speaking of the horror show, at Extreme Rules, because I see behind you, I see nothing in that case behind you.
Oh.
So what we had was, on our predictions of that night, was a 3-3 tie, with that deciding match, as we knew going in, was going to be the Raw Women's title match. And then the Raw Women's title match happened, and there's a lot of confusions there that sat around that match together. I mean, if we go off of who left the pay-per-view with the belt, I win. If we go after, like, how the rules work, like, there's a no contest, the match gets thrown out, and it would have at least been a no contest and whatever. So I decided that it was much easier to do it this way, is to just throw this match out, because there's not even going to be a resolution until this Monday. We're not going to get which is fine, actually. I do it, draw it out if you have to. We'll finally actually figure out the actual champion.
Stephanie coming on the screen on Raw this past week saying that, Sasha, you didn't win. Asuka, you didn't win either. So they're going to have a match Monday to determine who the actual winner is. And if the role model Bayley gets involved, then Sasha loses.
A full one-on-one thing. Well, because, I mean, I don't know if you can actually put up a cage in the. Well, no, you can. There's room, because they put up the fight pit. At the PC. Oh, that would have been an interesting match if they said, all right, there's no interference, and here's how we're going to ensure it. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be an interesting match to see. So, long story short, we threw that match off the card, let it sit through. It's a 3-3 tie. Therefore, you have one draw back on your card as the champion retains in the case of a draw, disqualification, or countout. A title cannot change hands on a draw.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, you seem pretty proud of your win.
Hey, a win is a win.
However, retain it. However, and if you have to knock the ref out to do it, knock the ref out.
If I gotta give you a low blow, then I'm gonna give you a low blow to keep my belt. So.
Then next month we're coming back, no disqualification. I'm taking you to Dick Kick City.
Bring it, bitch.
Okay.
And
we will go. You know what? We will take this to the streets of Pemberville, Ohio, and we'll have a more than happy host.
Take it to the streets. Oh my God, you kill me. All right, let's get into our top 5. Let's start that right now. You're killing me.
Notice how he cuts me off for, hey, we have a chance to start down a road, a line of thinking. But I'm okay with this.
That road is cut off. Here we go, our top 5. All right, our top 5 this week. Top 5 best entrance themes. Now, we've played some before. We can't really play them because then we get our stuff muted and we can't do it.
Not taking a strike on this one, nor will I add this later on and post to the podcast. But if you really want to hear all the music that we're going to be talking about, it will be in one large blog post that will go up later on this afternoon. We'll have videos for all 10 entries on this here list. Where did my... here we go.
Got your clipboard? Got your list?
My list. It was behind me. I was like trying to figure out where my list was. But anyway, so needless to say, roll on over to thefinisherpodcast.com. This will be the top post up there. It'll have not only the video, but then it'll have all of our favorite themes so you can jam along as well.
All right, let's get going on our top 5. Dan, who is your number 5?
Number 5 is not necessarily a purpose-built theme, but it is it makes you ask the question if a song has ever fit a character better than Living Colour's Cult of Personality for CM Punk. Seriously, even if I didn't already like the song to begin with, the guitar work on that song is insane. But it just, as a theme song, it would fit Punk so perfectly. It's like it was written for his character. And whenever that unmistakable guitar lick hit, you knew there was a very good chance you were about to bear witness to a pipe bomb.
To a pipe bomb, yes.
Hi, Colt.
Are you done? My number 5. It's clobbering time. We have the same number 5 once again. CM Punk, Cult of Personality.
Second week in a row.
Look at that crap. I always loved CM Punk. Dude, I was so pissed when I went to an event and he was advertised to be there, and that was right after he had walked out. And we weren't, was he going to come back? Is he not? And he didn't come back, and that was the end of it. I was so pissed. I've seen him before, but still, it was always fun to watch in the ring, and I was just... I love the entrance theme, and you always know, like you said, as soon as that music hits, you know something's gonna happen. Something. Is he gonna sit on the top of the stage and do another 8-minute blast? Where the hell are my ice cream sandwiches? Damn it!
Where are the ice cream bars?
Where the hell is my ice cream? The thing is, Good Humor was doing it, but not around anywhere where we live, so that sucks.
Of course not. We don't have to get to have the fun stuff.
We don't. All right, Dan, who's your number 4?
Number 4, this is quick and simple. Ultimate, Ken Shamrock's theme. An underrated one. For some reason, there's like random bells just set the mood perfectly for getting into the zone. It is a simple, sort of muted song even. While it's still, there's an intensity there that brought the most intense man in the history of that company to the ring.
Ken Shamrock. The dude was a beast too. My number 4. I don't have any toothpicks, or I would have thrown with the camera. Bad Boy, Razor Ramon. One of my favorites. I mean, I got his little pop back there. One of my favorite wrestlers ever since I was a kid. Razor Ramon. Chuck went up for the good guy. Was it good guy or bad guy? I can't remember now.
One more for the good guy.
For the good guy, yeah. even though his theme was Bad Boy. I always loved his gimmick, Ayo. So, and I loved his theme, which is kind of funny. The beginning of his theme is really similar to the beginning of Mick Foley or Mankind.
Right, you both have the
theme.
screeching
They
brakes.
both the screeching brakes. I'm like, every time they'd have like, holy crap, Razor. Oh no, it's just Mick.
Excuse me. Oh, okay.
Just Mick. I still like Mick. Mick's a good
Is
guy.
Scott back? No, Scott's not back. Here, but here comes Mick.
Here comes Mick. Yeah. That's my number 4. So Dan, who's your number 3?
Number 3, we get into some legendary territory. Let me see if I can screw this one up. The piece of music is also Sprig Zarathustra. So close. Probably screwed it up. It's Ric Flair. At this point, I think more people recognize that as the music that brought the dirtiest player in the game to the ring.
Doesn't it basically Space Odyssey?
Its feature positioning in 2001, A Space Odyssey, which is a film that nowadays is mostly only watched by film students writing auteur studies of Stanley Kubrick, which is why I watched it. But it turned out to be the perfect piece to announce the arrival of the man, the world champion. It is majestic. It is expansive. Even if it didn't, like, tempo-wise, quite match the excitement of a main event, it was perfect for Flair. And, admittedly, I don't hate Charlotte's remix of it.
Yeah. I can see that. Well, we're going to make number 3 even easier, because my number 3 is Space Odyssey, Ric Flair's intro theme. Because
Beautiful.
every time, even as soon as you hear that, you got to woo. I mean, when you go to an event, you just randomly woo anyway, because fuck it.
I mean, you hit the... Whoa!
Woo.
I mean, it all starts up high, then it eventually just kind of comes down if you've wooed so many times.
Woo! So we think we both had number 5. We both had number 3. Dan?
I'd be willing to bet. I'd be willing to bet there's a very good chance we both have the same number 1. But I know for a fact we do not have the same number 2.
Dan, who's your number 2? Let's hear it.
Number 2 is the glorious domination of Bobby Roode. And I really hope we get to hear this on Friday nights again soon. The grand choral vocals set this theme apart from most of the generic rock tunes that a majority of wrestlers come out to anyway. It hits so hard, continues with just this massive feel of guitar and strings. There is no question what's about to happen when that little piano intro hits, and whether Roode is face or heel, audiences cannot help but sing along. That's literally my phone. That's an alarm for me now, but it was my ringtone for quite a while. The little 8-bit version of Glorious.
I know. You had it and I recorded it. I had it because I was like, I love it so much. So you said that, I was like, I gotta pull that up. So that's your number.
That's my number 2.
My number 2. You think you know me? Edge's theme.
The original. You think you know me, not Metalingus.
Yeah, Metalingus. Alter Bridge.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that was the intro, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just remember the drums and the smoke. And then he comes through, and on this day, he sees clearly.
On this day, yeah. Edge was another one of my favorites. As that in that era, Edge. Edge back in the day with the Brood. Edge and Christian 5-second pose. One of my favorite guys in groups. Ever in that era. So my number 2 has to be Edge's theme, the Alter Bridge theme.
The benefit of those with flash photography.
I love it. Oh my god. Bring that back. I think someone tried to bring that back recently. I forget who it was. All right, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I can run through them real quick here. And let me see if let me move this over or try and bring this down so I can see your face if any of these hit your number 1. There's so many good. That's the problem. There's so much good here. There's so much enjoyable stuff. Kurt Angle, metal. Why? Because you suck. What? You suck. What? That's. I mean, even like he just embraced it later on. The original whiny guitar Four Horsemen theme, just amazing. Pomp and Circumstance. Come on.
Oh, when are they gonna? When is he gonna be put in the Hall of Fame? Damn it.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Is he?
Thought so. Pretty sure they finally got to that. Unfortunately, it was after he passed away.
Now I gotta look it up.
Let me give you a couple more. We talked about him earlier, Mick Foley and the car crash, because that eventually, after a while, that just meant that a cheap pop was about to happen.
It was.
Because the commissioner was about to come out.
2015 he was put in. Sorry.
Yeah, as I say, I really like Gold Dust's. It for setting an aura, like none better. Speaking of the Viper, come on, Voices. Not necessarily Burning My Light. That was another Alter Bridge track that was but Voices, absolutely, that he still contains. The Rising Sun bringing Shinsuke Nakamura to the ring. I know you don't like him, but I
like him.
That piece of music. And actually, I'm sure I'll get some heat for going with a remix and not the original, but Curtis Axel's music when he first got there, the remix of Perfect. Another one of those that came off very well with the remix treatment. Because of the high probability of us having a similar number one, why don't you go ahead if you have any honorable mentions?
I just had one.
Okay.
And that was another one of my favorite groups back in the day is D-Generation X.
Okay.
I only have that one. I don't think we have the same number one.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
But there's only one. There's only one. And it all starts with a gong.
The Undertaker. Yep. Okay, I guess we do have the same number one.
I was just saying, no theme is more iconic. No theme is guaranteed to generate a huge response.
Dude, I hoped every time I went to a live event and said, "Come on, just please hit the music, the lights." If he's not here, I just want all of that. You know, the lights, the gong, the screen, the smoke. I want to feel it. Never got to happen.
And that's exactly it. It was just like an aura more than anything else.
It was an experience.
Later on, it kept its mystique through many reworkings and remixes, but it always still held all of the power befitting the man whom it brought to the ring.
Yeah, and I was feeling I didn't think we both would have that as number one. I figured you would have had something more obscure, but.
No, honestly.
But I also had Kurt Angle down in one of my honorable mentions because just the whole "you suck" thing as well. But I didn't mention it because you did. So.
Honestly, as I started writing, I knew Ken Shamrock was going to be there, and I knew the Undertaker was number one, and I just kind of built from there.
Yeah.
That's
kind of the same way. I knew CM Punk would be on there. I knew Taker would be on there.
You knew Flair probably had to be there somewhere.
Yep.
So this one wasn't necessarily as interesting or out there as I normally like to get. We'll see.
Let's grab that cup. Let's reach into that cup and pull out another one.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool if we could actually make that work and you could have picked a piece of. Now I did go through these during the week and I pulled about 3 or 4 of them out where I looked at it and went, no, that's way too esoteric for us to do. So we're cleaned up a little bit in this. So next week,
what do we got?
Next week we shall do.
Where's my sticky notes?
Also fun. Next week we will do our top 5 favorite cage matches. So this could be quite a bit of fun. I think I promise I'll only put 1 War Games on my list.
All right. So as always, if you're watching along, if you're watching this later, make sure you leave a comment on this post. Let us know what your top favorite entrance themes were. Let us know what your top 5 favorite cage matches are for our podcast next week, and we'll kind of go off of that. We'll read yours too, and talk about that when that time comes. So yeah, make sure you do that and hang out with us. And Dan wanted to make a little announcement.
Yeah, we decided the live reacts and watch alongs are so much fun when we do the pay-per-views live on the network, is that we're going to expand that idea a little bit more. We're going to watch a variety of stuff. I have a list of things. A lot of it is bad. There's some good in there, but a lot of it's bad. So this will be the most fun part. And what we're going to do is make that separate. So you'll see that live on Facebook right here as we do it, and then it will end up on our YouTube channel later on as well.
So a little different than the actual live pay-per-views, where those are just Facebook exclusive. These are going to be Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, we'll make these a little more widely available. We won't make it a podcast because that might be a little bit rough. But what we're going to do...
I wouldn't do a podcast because it's kind of hard to listen to somebody watch something when you don't know what's going on.
Right. So and obviously we'll make things as accessible as possible. If it's on YouTube, we'll provide a link right there in the description of the video so you can watch along. I'll try and keep regular time checks and possible. But the first one we're going to do, and I think we'll probably do it sometime early next week, maybe, because it's only about 40 minutes long. It was a hidden gem on the network a little bit ago, and I watched it, and I had to get Jerry's reaction to this. So we at some point will go back to 1989 and an unaired pilot that the AWA shot for their Team Challenge series.
I was 6. You were 6.
I was 5, 6, depending on what it was, whatever. And so they were going to redo the look of the promotion's TV, and we're going to relaunch it into this one specific thing. And so we're going to go back and watch the roots of the cinematic wrestling match, believe it or not. And yeah, there's some stuff there.
There's some stuff.
That's all I'm going to put there. So yeah, we'll figure out something. We're going to try and do that early next week. It may be live on a late night and then re-aired on YouTube, but we'll figure it out.
You know what? If you want to know when this can happen, just watch our Facebook page. The day before we do it, we'll make an announcement. Hey, we're going to do this tomorrow. Yeah. Make sure you come over tomorrow, hang out with us as we watch this, and watch along with us. So always do that. Make sure you always go check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/thefinisherpodcast. Everything we talk about will be there as well, along with all of our social, all of our streaming and podcasting services are over at thefinisherpodcast.com, along with blogs that Dan writes and updates with this blog, with this podcast. He'll put everything we talked about in this, all the videos of the entrance themes that we picked as our top 5, and go from there. And he'll have all that up on thefinisherpodcast.com. So make sure you check that out. Hang out with us every week right here on Facebook. Dan, you got anything else? Anything you want to plug?
Actually, thank you for mentioning that. As a matter of fact, so if you can't get enough of my sonorous tones, head on over to fairlykickass.com. If you're into music whatsoever, we finally have a new episode. The month of July has kind of been a cluster fart for us, but we finally did a new episode this past week, and it was a lot of fun. It was the most fun that we've had doing this show so far, and we decided another top 5 episode. We decided to pick our top 5 songs that we'd like to fire into the sun, and boy, was that fun! Let me tell you.
All right, give us what was your number 1?
The number 1 song that I would like to fire into the sun so that humanity never had to suffer through it again, Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes.
I figured it would have been Mbop.
No. And as a matter of fact, I will not hear of any slander in that, because Hanson turned out to actually be a really good band.
Did they really?
Yes, they did, actually.
What was the song you were saying?
The Pina Colada song. I mean, I can bring up my top 5. I can bring up my thing and give you a taste of the rant if you really want it. But for the full effect, you should go over to fairlykickass.com. It's the top thing on the list. Or no, they might have posted some more album reviews by now. But the top post should be the podcast that just came out. If not, you can hear us on Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, all the other places. Basically everywhere but iTunes. just like this show, can be heard everywhere but iTunes. For some reason, they do not like my applications over there at Apple.
What did you do?
Look, I can't really say anything until the statute of limitations expires in a couple of years.
Okay. So Dan doesn't like the Pina Colada song.
The Pina Colada. Have you listened to the Pina Colada song?
Here's a matching video.
Nope, shut up. I was trying to pull it up for later. Fuck you, Google! You ruined it, you bastard.
Like,
Stupid.
listen to that song and then come back to me and tell me what's up, because I have some things I could say about it.
It's an amazing song.
I believe the simile that, or the metaphor that I got best was, and then comes a guitar solo that sounds like they kicked the humbucker of the guitar in the balls and then just went with that sound.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so check out his podcast, Fair Click S Podcast. Check them out there. And as always, make sure you check us out. Huh?
I was just saying, anybody else we know we got to plug?
We have our friends over at Comic Chaos. You can go check them out. Comic Chaos on Facebook. Facebook. It's a new website I'm working on. Facebook. So we can just block everybody.
They're going to block us pretty soon. But seriously, go check them out. There's so much, like, you want to talk about two dudes that know their stuff inside and out. I'm hoping they talk about it on their next episode, the back and forth on Facebook about the origins of Superman and its links back to Ohio was awesome. So definitely check this out this week. And
check them out. They know what they're talking about.
Yep.
So thanks a lot for joining us. We will be back next week at the same time. We're around 1:30, some of that vicinity. And we will see you guys then. Have a good one.